was a woman once when we were at the UN who talked to me, and she explained that among her people there was a story from long ago about when the forests were on fire and how the little tiny hummingbird was flying back and forth to the river and then picking up one drop of water and flying back to the fire and dropping that one drop of water in the fire. And then how all the other animals just burst out laughing and saying, "Hummingbird, what do you think you're doing?" And that hummingbird, without missing a beat, said, "I'm doing the best that I can." I'm Dawn Lavell-Harvard. I'm from the Wikwemikong First Nation on Manitoulin Island. And now I'm the director of the First Peoples House of Learning here at Trent University. When I think of what I'm most proud of what we've achieved, I have to think big picture, because this has been a really long struggle. We started openly talking about the violence against Indigenous women, and nobody wanted to hear it. Even the chiefs in our own communities, nobody wanted to talk about it. So we fought to have the issue of ending violence put on the agenda. Then we hit a time frame where it's not only on the agenda, we go to a First Ministers meeting and it is the agenda, to a point where in the last election that it wasn't just an Indigenous issue anymore, and it wasn't just a women's issue anymore. It became a Canadian issue. And that, I think, is what I'm most proud of. That we have taken something that was a dirty secret that nobody wanted to talk about, even in our own communities, and we've brought it to the forefront, and we're starting to talk about it so that we can actually make a difference. We're no longer suggesting that the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls is somehow just an urban myth. And now we've moved to a place where we can finally help. Some of those families are starting to heal. Some of those families are finally beginning to see justice. And that, for me, I think, is the most important thing. In this era, right now, in this year, is more important than ever that we remember that spirit that Barbra had, that we remember the bright, wonderful light that was cut short by violence, and think about how many lives out there, how many young women and girls have so much potential that is cut short by violence. We're not slipping back into a society where we're allowing that kind of misogynistic attitude to start to claw its way back to the surface, because we can never again go back to a place where that's allowed. There are days where I don't want to do this anymore. There are days where you just want to go back to bed and pull the covers over your head and not have to be in a world where young Indigenous girls are going missing. But those are the days that it's most important that we realize, because there's so many young girls out there that we have to carry on. And one drop at a time, you can make a difference. If we all do our one little small bit, we can change society. And that's what that story was about that hummingbird, about that spirit of doing the best that you can with whatever your talent is, whatever your one burning issue is, standing up. Because if we all stand up, then one drop at a time, thousands and millions of drops becomes a flood that can change the entire landscape. So on those days where you want to just go back to bed and pull the covers over your head because you feel like you're not getting anywhere, we have to remember that one drop at a time, we are making a difference. And when we look back, we have enough perspective to realize, and that gives you the courage to carry on those days when sometimes it's just too hard.